and welcome to day 26 of Move the Mind. We're going to be building on a lot of what we've done this week and moving through a vinyasa flow into some balancing postures. You might need a couple of bricks or a strap if that's in your practice, but we're going to meet standing in Tadasana. Bringing big toes together, heels slightly apart, or maybe you walk your feet so they're hips distance apart. And starting from the ground upwards, so really rooting the feet down into the ground, and maybe just starting to take some circles here through the four corners of the feet, moving anti-clockwise or clockwise, whatever you prefer, and really becoming aware of how you distribute the weight within your feet. Once you've gone one way, making sure that you've gone the other. Until you come to a point of stillness in the centre. Inhale to bring the toes away from the mat, and then slowly, one toe at a time, starting from the pinky toe inwards, seeing if you can place one toe back onto the mat at a time. And once you're here, moving up, starting to engage through the legs, lifting the kneecaps, lifting the thighs, keeping the thighs strong. Bringing the navel towards the spine and finding that anterior tilt in the pelvis. So posterior would be sticking the butt right out, anterior is the other way, but we also don't want to be taking a back bend here. So you're finding that point in the middle where you're strong from that grounded stability of your feet. The spine grows long, seeing if you can find more space in between your vertebrae. Notice if you're flaring your ribs out, keep them coming in towards the body. Inhaling the shoulders up and away from the ears and down the back as you spiral the palms out towards the front of the room, keeping the fingertips active here. Bringing the chin back slightly, and it's almost as if someone has a string attached to the crown of your head, and that is going up towards the ceiling, helping you grow long and tall. Maybe keeping the gaze steady by a point directly in front. Maybe closing the eyes or lowering the gaze. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just allowing yourself to turn your gaze inward for a few moments before we begin. Seeing if you can let your breath just take anything that does not serve you away from you today. Seeing if you can let your breath bring you into the present moment, a moment of now. And just allowing anything that's happened so far today to be washed away. This is a time for you to focus on your body, to focus on your breath, to really tune into yourself, to find out what's going on today. How does the body feel today? How does the mind feel today? What is the breath doing today? Really focusing on that connection between movement and breath. Breath is life, breath is movement. Nothing else really matters right now. Taking one more deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Opening the eyes with a soft gaze if they've been closed. And we will begin. Inhaling, both arms come overhead, and then you drop the right hand down to the right leg as you inhale the left arm up and over, finding a side bend, supporting yourself with that bottom hand, turning the ribcage up to the left. Inhale to come into centre. Exhale, bringing that left hand down the left leg. As you inhale, the right arm lifts, taking that side bend so the hips come out towards the right as you bend up and over to the left. Rib cage spiraling up to the right, maybe gaze goes up under right arm. Inhale, coming back up to center, look up, reach up. Exhale, bending the knees to hinge and fold over the legs. Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana to find that halfway lift. Maybe bringing a block in front of the face as you bring the left hand in front of the face. Deep bend in that left knee, right leg stays straight. Inhale, right arm lifts, finding a hamstring stretch. Either keeping that arm going up towards the ceiling or maybe taking a wrap around the back to open up through the shoulder more. Inhale. Exhale to release, bringing right hand in front of the face, deep bend in the right knee. Inhale, the left arm lifts, taking the twist. Maybe left arm stays where it is, maybe left hand comes around the back, nestling into the right inner thigh, opening up the left shoulder, maybe gaze goes up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale to release, finding your forward fold. Inhale to look up halfway and lengthen. Exhale, planting the hands to step back to find your high plank. Bringing the knees down here if you need, but otherwise seeing if you can find that active engagement into your plank, pushing the ground away from you. So really pushing into the ground. Eyes of the elbows turning inwards. Shoulders are down away from the ears, but you're creating that doming sensation in the upper back, almost like you're broadening your back. If someone was pushing into the top of your back, you would be pushing that hand away. Keep the navel in towards the spine. And the legs are strong and engaged. Your heels are coming up and away from the floor. It's almost like you're launching yourself forward. Inhale. Exhale to bring the knees down. The chin and chest comes to the ground as the elbows tuck into the body. Inhale, peeling through to find your cobra. Exhale, rolling over the toes. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Taking a moment here to pedal through the feet if you need. Taking any sort of movement that's calling out to your body until you want to come to that place of stillness. If you want to start in a place of stillness, coming to that stillness right away. But finding your space in your downward facing dog. Really seeing if you can start to treat this posture as a reset, as a pause. I hate it when yoga teachers say as a rest, because I think it's one of the most active poses you can do. But really using it as almost like a cleanse to your practice. Inhale to come high onto the balls of the feet, deep bend in the knees, look between the hands. Jump, step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale to look up halfway and lengthen. Exhale to hinge and fold. Inhale, pushing into the feet to come all the way to standing. Exhale, bringing that prayer through the center line of the body, Tadasana. Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salutation B. Inhale, bending the knees deeply, bringing the fingertips to just tickle the floor. Sweeping the arms up, sinking the hips back, coming into Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale to hinge and fold over the legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, finding that halfway lift with the spine. Exhale, planting the hands, step, jump or float to the back of the mat. Following the exhale, bringing the shoulders forward, knees down if you wish, coming through your chaturanga. Inhale, arching the spine, finding your back bend in your upward dog or your cobra. Exhale, rolling over the toes to come into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. One breath, one movement. Inhale, stepping right foot up as left heel lowers down 45 degrees. Inhale, both arms lift, finding Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, planting the hands down, stepping right foot back to meet the left, either knees come down or staying through your chaturanga. Inhale is your upward dog, opening the chest, shoulders down away from ears. Exhale is downward facing dog. Inhale to step left foot up in between the hands, lowering that right heel down. Inhale, both arms lift, finding Virabhadrasana of 1. Hips squared to the front of the mat. Exhale to lower hands down, left foot back to meet right. Exhale through your chaturanga. Inhale is your upward dog or your cobra. Exhale is your downward facing dog. And we'll be here for 3 breaths. Inhaling for 1. Exhale for 1. Inhale for 2. Exhale for 2. Inhale for 3. Exhale for 3. Inhale to come high onto the balls of the feet, deep bend in the knees, look between the palms, and jump, step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale is your halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, sweeping the arms up as you sink the hips down, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, coming all the way back to find your Tadasana, mountain pose. So that would be your traditional Surya Namaskar. I know it's quite quick, but it does build strength in the body. Inhale, hugging the right knee in towards the chest. Then crossing the right ankle over the left thigh. Either staying here, bringing hands in towards prayer at the heart space, or exhale, sinking the hips. So coming into a bit of a modified chair in our figure 4 here. Sending the right knee out, so we've got that external rotation of the right leg, and sending the left hip back and down, finding that strength here. Trying not to round down and over, keeping the chest proud. Keeping the hands active and engaged, so pushing the hands in towards each other. Keeping shoulders down away from the ears, and staying with your breath. Inhale, and exhale. If you find yourself wobbling, just keeping the gaze steady by a point directly in front of you. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, coming back to standing, hugging that right knee in towards the chest. Then allowing the leg to be parallel to the floor in line with the hip, bringing left hand to the left hip, right hand to the inside of the right thigh. Inhale to grow tall with the spine. Exhale, opening the right hip out towards the right. Now if you do have more space in the legs, you can either bring a strap around that foot, or you can interlock the first 2 fingers and thumb around the big toe, kicking the right heel away from you, and then sending the right foot out towards the right. Maybe gaze goes over to the left, maybe you extend the left arm out, keeping your drishti, your gaze, on your thumb. Just noticing if you're swinging the hips out, keeping them squared to the mat. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, bringing that right leg back into center, and bringing both hands to the hips. If your leg is bent, seeing if you can start to bend, to straighten that right leg, pointing through the toes. How high can you start to bring that right leg without compromising the spine? So noticing if you're moving your back backwards to counter the leg, keeping the torso strong. Staying with the breath. Inhale, and exhale. We're here for 5, 4, 3. Can you lift your leg a little bit higher? For 2, for 1. Releasing that leg to the floor. Maybe just taking a little wiggle with the legs. Then rooting through that left foot, inhaling, the right leg comes back up into the chest. Bringing hands into prayer. And slowly, carefully, tilting your way back to find your Virabhadrasana 3, your warrior 3. So if this means that your feet are just a couple of inches away from the floor, that's fine. Maybe starting to extend and lift, keeping the chest as if you're coming into upward facing dog. So noticing if you're rounding here, noticing if you're opening that right hip, keeping the right big toes down towards the floor. If you find that you hyperextend in the left leg, in the left knee, keeping a gentle bend in that left knee, keeping your gaze at point directly in front of you. Inhale, exhale, carefully landing that back foot into your crescent lunge. Inhale, Exhale to open the arms, left hand coming back as right hand forward comes forward, finding your twisted lunge. Gaze goes over the left fingertips. Inhale, maybe bringing left hand down the right leg as you lift the right arm up towards the ceiling. Maybe gaze goes up towards the ceiling. Inhale, keeping a bend in that left knee. Exhale, bringing right hand down to the mat as left arm comes up towards the sky, finding that twisted lunge onto lower down this time. Inhale. And exhale, coming onto the outside edge of both feet, finding that super twisty lunge. Maybe left fingertips go towards the back of the mat. Inhale. And exhale. Next inhale, maybe that left leg comes halfway back, finding a supported side plank. Maybe you come all the way back to side plank, or maybe you come back to find your wild thing. Right leg is straight to the left, toes are bent behind, left knee is bent behind you, left toes on the mat. Taking the back bend of your choice. Inhale. Exhale, wherever you are, bringing that left hand back to the mat, finding your high plank. Then either coming straight back to downward dog, or if you do want to work through that vinyasa, coming through your chaturanga, your upward dog, and your downward facing dog. Maybe bringing the knees down and maybe finding your way to a child's pose here. And back to the breath, taking that moment to reset the body, reset the mind. And if you're in that child's pose, tucking the toes under, coming back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, high on the balls of the feet, deep bend in the knees, look between the palms, and jump, step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale to look up halfway and lengthen. Exhale to hinge and fold. Inhaling, root to rise, gaze follows thumbs. Exhale to bring the prayer through the center line of the body, Tadasana. Other side, so rooting through that right foot onto the ground. Bending the left knee up and in towards the chest. Then crossing that left ankle over the right thigh. Maybe hands come into prayer. Maybe you stay here, getting used to that external rotation of the left leg. If you do want to move on, starting to bend into that right knee, sending the hips back. Staying with your breath, and just being super aware the balance might feel different on this side. Keeping your concentration. And really just making sure you're not holding your breath. Balance is breath. If you stay with the breath, keep the energy flowing throughout the body, balance will become a lot easier. As soon as you start to hold your breath, you trigger a response in your nervous system, which means you're going to fall. Inhale, coming back to center. Hugging that left knee in towards the chest. Then bringing right hand to the right hip, allowing the left knee to be in line with the left hip, bringing the left hand to the inside of that left knee. Inhale to grow tall and lengthen. Exhale, sending left knee out towards the left. Maybe you take a strap around the foot, maybe you can take the bind, so you kick the left foot out, and then send the left foot to the left side of the room. This is definitely my wobblier side. So if you are finding it super wobbly, maybe you are going too far, so come back to a different variation. And just be aware that both sides of the body are very different, and both days are very different. Maybe you could get super far into this last week. Maybe this week it's just not happening for you. Totally depends on what's happened in the week, what's happened in the day. And with balance in particular, it really depends on what's happening in your mind. Inhale, bringing that left knee back into center. Bringing both hands to the hips. Inhale to grow tall through the spine. Exhale, start to send the left toes away from you, straightening through that left leg, pointing through the toes, being active and engaged through that left leg. Maybe you can lift the leg a little bit higher, but notice if you're compromising the pose. So if you're starting to send your shoulders and your back, come back, lower the leg a little bit, and move back from there. You want your spine to be long and straight. It's almost as if you're standing on the floor with both feet. We're here for 5, 4, 3. Can you lift it a little bit higher for 2, for 1. Lowering left foot down to meet the right, maybe just taking a little wiggle. I do like a little wiggle. For rooting down, coming back into center, finding a brief Tadasana, finding that stability in your mountain pose. And inhaling, the left knee comes in towards the chest. Bringing the hands through prayer, starting to tilt the body forward as that left leg goes back, finding your warrior 3. Maybe keeping a gentle bend in that right knee, as maybe you start to lift that left leg a bit higher, but staying strong and engaged through that back leg, so that back leg is straight. If you bend the knee deeply, it's going to be much harder to balance. Keeping left toes coming back down towards the floor, shoulders are squared to the top of the mat, but you're bringing the chest up like you're in that upward facing dog. Notice if you're rounding the shoulders here. Inhale. Exhale, bringing left toes to the back of the mat. Inhaling, both arms lift, finding your crescent lunge. You may need to widen your stance here. I tend to take a much narrower stance in my warrior 3s. Inhale, extend. Exhale, the right arm goes back as the left hand comes forward. You're still super high on the ball of that back foot, so notice if you're dropping the left heel. It's like someone's pushing your heel. It'd be like I'm standing behind you pushing into your heel. Gaze goes back towards those right fingertips. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you inhale, tracking the right hand down the left leg as the left arm goes up towards the sky. Inhale, finding that space in the left hip flexor. Maybe gaze starts to go up towards the sky, but maybe you keep your gaze down onto the floor for balance. Exhale, bringing left hand down in line with the right foot. Inhale, the right arm lifts, finding that runner's twisted lunge. Inhale. Exhale to come onto the outer edge of both feet, maybe sending right fingertips towards the back of the mat. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, maybe that front leg comes halfway back, finding a supported side plank. Maybe the right foot comes all the way back, finding a full side plank. Right hand up towards the sky, lifting the hips up. Or maybe you take right toes behind you, bending the right knee, finding your way into your wild thing. Opening the chest. Really taking what you need today. Staying with your breath. Inhale. Exhale, wherever you are, coming into that high plank. Coming through your chaturanga, or coming straight back into your child's pose. Walking the hands out in front. Allowing the forehead to come onto the ground. Rolling the forehead from side to side. Releasing the practice, releasing anything that might have come up for you today. Rolling the body up, coming to kneeling, crossing over the ankles, and then bringing the soles of the feet together, being quite a wide diamond shape, so taking the feet quite away from you. Inhale to open up through the chest. Exhale, bringing the hands down and aiming for the crown of the head or the forehead to come towards the feet. You might be quite high here, you might want to sit up onto a block, but just coming to a position where you can release the body, taking any sort of active engagement out here. Just coming back to your breath. Allowing the body to calm down, allowing the nervous system to calm down. Inhale, walking yourself up, planting the feet, bringing the arms parallel to the floor, as slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, with control, if you can, come to lying on the back. And really just taking any final movements that you need here, maybe just hugging the knees in, maybe taking a twist, maybe taking a happy baby. Any final wiggles you need before meeting in our Shavasana, our final resting pose. Palms turning up to the ceiling, walking the shoulder blades underneath the back, feet out to either corner of the mat. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more in through the nose, let, and out through the mouth, go. Allowing your body to sink heavy onto the earth. Really allowing the practice to just cleanse anything that does not serve you. So taking anything that is not serving you away from the body, away from this space, away from this time. If you do have longer to spend in your Shavasana, please do so. It's one of the most important poses in all of yoga. But I will leave you here. Thank you for your energy and your practice today. Thank you for joining me on the mat. Namaste.